All right, looks like it's about 9:30. I'm going to get started here. Welcome to week 3, live lecture 1. Happy Veterans Day. Um, Thank you to all that who have served. If you have served, I decided to have the lecture today, even though this is kind of considered a holiday, just because I couldn't squeeze it in any other spot in my schedule. So if you're listening to this recording, it's probably because you're, you know, either have other things going on or you're on the holiday. So again, thank you for those who have served, and it's just something to be very thankful for. All right, so let's get started here. We are. First, I have to say I'm kind of fighting this cold still, so I might be coughing in between. I apologize. I'm trying to get my voice back and all that good stuff. But if I have to pause the recording, mute the recording, that's because I'm coughing. It's one of those colds that never go away. It's terrible. But I apologize ahead of time. So hopefully you guys had a good run here, week 1 and week 2. We were talking about infographics in regards to, template versus manually creating one in the discussion last week. And then you were able to actually do that in week 1 and week 2. You're also pulling together your strategy from week 1 to create your infographic for week 2. A lot of you guys did a great job with that, so I was very pleased to see a lot of you guys pull through a lot of your concepts very nicely. And hopefully that the template assessment helped inspire you to push your designs further. All right, so in week 3, we have a few things to go over here. Welcome, Beth. We are going to be defining information design and how it applies to the role as a graphic designer or web designer. Design a set of symbols with a cohesive theme that can be universally understood, and develop a cohesive user interface that supports best practices of hierarchy and principles of design. So if you go ahead and go into Canvas, oh, my doggy, hold on one second. All right, sorry about that. My dog's barking at all the leaf blowers around. And I'm not as fast as I used to be because I did a 5K on Sunday or Saturday, and my muscles are feeling the pain. So I apologize for that. Okay, so our learning objectives are basically what I just went over on that slide. You can watch this, and that's everything that you should be walking away learning this week. So this week, you are going to study more about human-centered design and how to keep the user's experience in the forefront of our considerations. You will start your second project by planning an interactive user interface and designing symbols, in other words, or AKA icons for the screen. You will also be exploring different design careers and how each implements information design. Here's a little video that you might want to check out that explains what it is meant by human-centered design. That's a big thing nowadays. I actually just met up with my good friend who is a user designer, user experience designer, and he actually does a lot of um, app development. And it's kind of cool to see his processes and to learn how he kind of plots his, I guess you would say, project design process throughout each project. Yep. So it's kind of cool. It's definitely totally different. It's kind of similar to our design processes, although they're really looking at how people are using digital devices or something that they are participating in. We are going to be doing a kiosk, so that's why it's important to understand the importance of accessibility when it comes to kiosks. Yep, yep. And just seeing how he gathers the information and researches is to gather that information is pretty cool. And a lot of it is observing, just observing people using either the device, the kiosk, will give you a lot of insight to what needs to be improved, or, it's almost like you're an inventor. Yep. Where you're kind of looking at it saying, okay, how can I improve this process? For so that the user can, it can be a smoother user experience. So it's kind of cool. All right, so you guys are going to be doing that this week. So you're going to be making a menu for a store kiosk. Yep. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of similar to like what we do as designers too. Sometimes we can see a need for something that's like like that you would invent that would be easier to use as as a product or something like that. So it's kind of cool. Or even just what the information looks like on the actual product that makes it more effective. So basically what you're going to be doing for this week is, creating a strategy of what your kiosk is going to look like in terms of the screen and how you're going to have everything uh, placed on your screens. Okay, so the kiosk will be placed close to the entrance of the store. I'm sure you guys have seen, kiosks before, either in the mall or in like a specific store. And this will be used for customers to find their way around the store and be able to search to find locations of a specific item. Yep, like a wireframe, exactly. That's a great word to use. So a wireframe is kind of like, a lot of that's used, basically a lot of that term is used for web design for the most part. But yeah, you can definitely do a wireframe, which is kind of like a thumbnail of sorts for your screens. And it's kind of could be like a website almost, as far as how you set that up. Remember about your grids too. Pay attention to that because that's going to come into play. Yep, basic map. Okay, so this project is about making the kiosk user-friendly and cohesive with the shopping experience and brand of the store. You will have a choice between several existing chain stores, so choose one store from the options below for your project. Each type of store has 5 general departments listed. You may also choose an existing store of your own with my approval before you start. Just be sure it will fit with the specifications of the overall project. Okay, let me see if this is still the same here, because sometimes these slides. So let me open up week 3 assignment here, and I'll just read off of here. So we have all the updated information. Excuse me, I'm fighting a cold still, so I apologize if I have to cough every now and then. It's like the never-ending cold. Okay, so go ahead and read through. This is week 3. It's about planning a user-friendly interface. So you're planning this. This is the development part. It goes on to explain about the experience, effective icon design. Definitely read through that. You guys are going to be creating icons. So the kiosk will be placed, like I said, close to the store. So it's basically for the user to, come up to and find their way to where they need to be as far as a product that they're looking for. Yep. I had it like 2 weeks ago and then it came back again. It's crazy. It's like so annoying. Excuse me. So you will have, oh, it's terrible. So you will have a choice between these three. So you have Walmart or Target, home improvement like Lowe's or Home Depot, craft and hobby, Michael's or Hobby Lobby. Okay. And in those brands that you need to show these certain sections. So grocery, home, pharmacy, apparel, and electronics for Walmart or Target. And for Lowe's or Home Depot, lumber, paint, tools, yard, garden, electrical. Yeah, you don't have too many, you don't see too many of those, huh? Hello, Dwayne. So we're just going over your assignment 3 here. Craft and hobby, Michael's or Hobby Lobby, you will be, if you're choosing that one, you have to do the screens that will show where art supplies, jewelry making, yarn, craft, paper crafts, and floral. So you may want to choose a store that you're familiar with, or you can visit in person or better plan to better plan your project. I know Target has in my store like a registry for baby and wedding kiosks, but I'm not sure exactly if they have one. I didn't see one for the overall store, but probably shows you where everything is when you're registering. Okay, so you'll be using the existing logo and branding for the store for your project. You can locate a vector version of your logo on this Brands of the World site. So you can go ahead and click on that. And, based on which one you choose, like say if you do Target, you can actually go in here and just type in Target for the search bar, and it's going to come up with logos for Target that you can download. You have to click on them and then download based on what you're doing. Okay, so that's where you can find them. Type in the name of the store, like I said. Choose the one that is the most recent one the store is currently using, so you might need to do a little research there. Full URL link is provided here. I think that's the same. Yeah, it's the same website. Okay, so you will be designing a minimum of 4 screens for the user interface. So you're going to have a home screen, a location map screen, a search screen, and the search result screen. Okay, so a simplified store map in an Illustrator format is provided for you to use. And you can download it here, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. You can customize this map if you would like, but remember it's best to keep it clear and simple for the user. Focus on the required parts of the assignment for each week. Hold on one second, guys. Okay, sorry. I'm fighting a cold, so I'm coughing my head off here, guys. Sorry about that. Okay, so you're going to rough out the user interface and content of the 4 main screens, considering the flow from screen to screen. Choose what text you need for each screen and think about how the screens interact with one another. That's really important. Carefully, like almost imagine yourself touching those buttons. What would you imagine if you touched that button? What would the next screen go to? Kind of think about it, as you're actually interacting with it. Carefully think through the plan and plan the user experience. Use hierarchy and principles of design to guide the user through your screens. Consider your own experiences with interactive kiosks and what you may find helpful or irritating. Excuse me. Design 5 symbols or icons to represent the department using Illustrator. To guide you in your symbol icon design, refer to this week's reading on successful icon design. Remember to keep them simple and recognizable. Use the Illustrator shape tool and avoid small details. Use InDesign or Illustrator to lay out your preliminaries and plans. If you did hand sketches, place images of these in the document. Be sure to include the company logo and the symbol icons you design. Excuse me. Save the file as a multi-page PDF when you're done. Oh man, I think I'm dying here. Woo! You know, when you think you haven't coughed enough, that's killing me. Okay, I apologize. Oh my gosh, it's so annoying. It's like when you don't want to cough, it's like when you know, makes your body want to cough, like makes your mind know that you want to cough even more. So it's like a double-edged sword there. Okay, so you're going to save it as a multi-page PDF. Remember, this is preliminary. So preliminary is kind of like your process steps, and you can show this in sketches, a wireframe. Beth talked about before. Exactly. Yep. It kind of chokes me up here. So, you know, it should be rough, but specific enough that when I view it, I kind of understand where you're going concept wise. Now, your icon development can be very rough too at this point. You can do like sketches or something really quick in Illustrator, you know, that, you know, you can, it's kind of like your process in your first week um, when you were doing your thumbnail sketches for your infographic. It's kind of like that. So you're just going to have your thumbnails for your preliminaries this week. So nothing, it shouldn't look finished. Okay, so this should be just the beginning stages. All right. Any questions about that so far? Yeah, I mean, you can have color if you want, but you know, it doesn't have to be. This would be more of like a kiosk design, but you know, you can set it up almost like, you know, how you do wireframes for websites. So it's going to be a touch screen for people who come into these stores and, you know, kind of try to figure out where to go within the store before they get started. So think about a kiosk. Think about, you know, your experiences. And if you haven't, you might want to go out and actually experience it yourself before you start this project. That's always a great thing to do, just because you can see, you know, not all kiosks are even that effective. You might see something that annoys you that you want to avoid. You know, maybe maybe you go up to a kiosk and you find it confusing on where to go next on a screen. So keep that in mind. What would you do differently? Kiosk? A kiosk. So a kiosk is spelled Kiosk. Kiosk. Yep. Okay. So what I would suggest, because and I'm gonna click on let's see here. Okay, so it talks about there's a store map and an Illustrator format right here. If you want to click on this and take a look at this first, you can at least see, let me open this up here, kind of like a good idea of what a store map would look like in Illustrator. So if you open this, download this and open this file, this is kind of what it looks like. You can see it's kind of mapped out where you have these squares. It's almost like it is kind of like a wireframe. So these would be the sections of the store where you can find maybe the superstore, home, I'm sorry, groceries. You know, maybe this one's apparel, electronics. You know, just think about a map of a store and how you would see that if you were walking into the store itself. And here's like checkout here. So that would be the part of your screen. That would be the map. Yes, so it's kind of like a wireframe. So this would be a good example of what the map would look like. And whenever we go back into our instructions here, it talks about the different sections that you need to pay attention to. So in here, it just talks about you need a home screen. And what I just showed you there was a location map. So that would be an example of a location map. And that just kind of tells you when a viewer is looking at it where they can find a certain department. So that's kind of the example given, okay? A home screen would be kind of when you walk up to the kiosk, what it looks like with the buttons to go to the next area that they would like to look at. Search screen would be kind of like when you search something on Google, but it's going to be on the kiosk. You search for a product, or maybe even a department there. And then the search result is basically what happens after you do your search, what pops up. Okay, before we even go further, I just wanted to show you here. If you go into I'm going to jump ahead because this is going to be a continuation of your week 4 assignment. So what you're doing in week 3 for assignment 3 will build on to your assignment 4. So I'm going to go ahead and skip to assignment 4. And in these, and this is good to do because you kind of see what's coming next week so you can prepare. There's actually a template that you can use in week 4 that you can download here. And I just wanted to show you that real quick, just because I think this will help you kind of understand a lot of things before you get started for this week. Okay, so this is given to you, so you can use, if you don't want to use this, that's fine. It's kind of like a template, but obviously this is week 4, so this is not what you need to do for week 3, just FYI. These pages are done sequentially here. So for instance, this would be your home screen when you're done presenting your work. And I just wanted to show you this for the pure fact of seeing how the screen looks in this particular mock-up. Okay, now if you want to do a different mock-up, go for it. If you think it looks better, go for it. There's free mock-ups, PSD mock-ups online that may look better that you might want to use, and that's fine. Just make sure whatever size the screen is, you're using that same ratio. And that's basically what I wanted to show you here. If you use, say, like this one, for instance, is more long than it is high. So it's kind of like a rectangle landscape. Now, let's say this week you start doing something that's more portrait, where it's the other way around. So it's like rotated. And then you find that, you want to use this. Well, it's not going to fit in here, that well. So that's why I wanted to show you this. So be mindful. You might actually want to look for your kiosk first if you're not going to use this one. You might want to look up your mock-up so that you can get the ratio right. If that makes sense. Sorry, guys. So this ratio, I would say, is probably about 8.5 by 5.5, I believe. So if you're going to go with this particular, you can use this if you want. But, if you want to use your own kiosk, I would say go ahead and get started with that first. Grab that kiosk. And, excuse me. Okay, sorry. Man, when it comes, it comes. Okay. So you guys you understand that, right? I wanted to show you that so you can pre-plan. That way you're not changing too many things when you get to that part. Okay. And there are really cool PSD mockups. If you just go to like google.com and just look up free PSD mockups, and you can even look for kiosk. You might be able to find. Now, this might take a little bit more of a search effort, but you can at least take a look at some options here. Some of these are like, obviously you're not going to use a trade show booth, just something very simple like this. If it's free, I don't want you guys to have to pay for it. Just take a look at that first, because all the screens may be a different size. Okay. Kind of avoid any type of, signage like this. You don't really need a stand, just something that has a screen on it. And then once you get that, and you download it and it looks great and it's free, And you can kind of get the ratio of the screen size from that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I would start this project, and I'm going to do, let's see here. What did I say? It's 5.5. Let's see, 5.5 by 8. Is that what it's on? Excuse me. I'm trying to find this ratio here. Man, I thought I was good before I started, and now it's like just getting worse. All right, so I'm going to do I'm going to do mine in Illustrator. Oops. And I did mine as if I were going to use that given kiosk. Oh, okay. 8.5 by 5.5. Okay. Excuse me. I'm going to do 8.5 by 5.5. Man. Okay. And I'm going to do 5 artboards just because you only need 4 screens. But I'm going to use the last artboard for my icon design kind of examples. Sorry, guys. Woo. Okay, let me save this DES240. I hope I can get through this lecture here without bugging you guys too much. Okay, week 3 live lecture 1. You can do this in InDesign. I just thought it's easier to do it in Illustrator, especially if you have a Wacom tablet. You can kind of sketch it out easily there that way too. Now, here's all my art. Here's my 4 or 5 artboards. So it's up to you if you want to. You can, but if you use that kiosk that was given to you guys in assignment 4, it's a little, it's not as high as an 8.5 by 11. So I would say stick to like 8.5 by 5.5. Yeah, it'll distort a little bit too much if you use that 8.5 by 11 size. Okay, so I might as well just start, keep it at that size. Okay, so this would be like the home page. So start thinking of what home pages you've seen on kiosks before. You typically, they have the up here. What's the main focus? And I'm just taking the square here, square tool. Yeah, welcome, store name, yep. So I'm just gonna put logo goes here, or welcome. You could even do like a welcome thing. So there's a logo. What else do you see on here? What else would you see on the welcome screen, you think? How can we assist you today? That's great. Yeah, you can start out that way. How can we assist you today? That's great. And at this point, this is just kind of you're creating these ideas. So it could, you can change the font and all that as you go forward. I'm just placing this in here for now. A couple items. Okay. What about buttons? Buttons to go to the next section. I'm gonna make these little squares. I think that's probably a good thing, right? Yeah. I'm gonna make these little squares and I'm gonna copy them down here. And these would be my buttons of like where they could go next if they needed to go to a certain department, right? So these would be department buttons, and that you can go in and freehand these if you want for now. I use the pencil tool. Feel free to just have fun with this. And, you know, let's say, okay, so let's pretend like I'm gonna do, let me pick one here. I'm gonna do Target. So we have grocery, home, pharmacy, apparel, and electronics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 areas. And I have 6 squares because I want to keep it even. So maybe one of them can be like, you know, you can have departments for the first 5, and then the last one would be, give me some suggestions there. What could the last square be? So we have grocery, home, pharmacy. So grocery, have like an apple. Home, and I'm just doing this really quickly so that you can understand. And this is where your icon design will come into play at the last last page of this. Coupons. Oh, that's a good one. I like that. Pharmacy. So you would kind of think about little, you know, simple icons that would fit for each of the departments that you have going on here. Clearance. That's good. Apparel and electronics. Okay, let's do like a t-shirt. Now, this is terrible, so just kind of bear with me here. Electronics. Do like a little phone or something. And I'll redo that too. And then, you know, maybe like coupons here. Very, very, very rough. Blue light special. I like that. And then maybe what you can do too is just kind of write notes in here. So like maybe for the first one, grocery. You can even have this in here if you want to keep it, you know, sometimes icons are hard to read too. We want to keep it simple, but we want it to be crystal clear. So having the actual word in there, it might be a good idea too, just so that we're, you know, making sure that everybody knows. Did you ever go up to a kiosk and not understand what the icon looked like? Sometimes that happens. So that could be annoying, right? So if it should be clear enough, but you know, it might not be. Yes. So, you know, having that that's a big thing, a big deal. So when we think about usability, you know, think about accessibility. You know, in web design, we don't realize that some people might be colorblind and they can't see a color change when you click on something. If that's the only thing that's showing that they're going to the next page. So you might need to add a line underneath certain things on a web page so that you know that you're on, you know, a certain page instead of a color change. So those types of things, just making sure that you're aware of, maybe not necessarily what I just told you, but I'm saying in regards to web design, what that would be an example of. You know. All right, this is, what is this? What did we say? Apparel and electronics. Electronics here. Okay. No, you're good. No. Okay, so this is a good start. You don't have to necessarily put color in here yet. It's just a plotted out plan. You know, I didn't even put the logo in here. I just said this is where it will go. I would also, what else would you add on here? What if you didn't want to do any of the buttons here? You know, maybe you went up to the kiosk and you don't want to do any of these things. A search, yep, good. So what I'm gonna do is probably make this a little smaller. Excellent. Yep, you guys got it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this up and I pull this up. I'm just going to put a search bar here just so that the user can, you know, if they don't see anything that they want to search for in these buttons, they could at least search for it here. You know, and then maybe mark this with, I don't know, like a little, oh, that's terrible. You can actually use, and I didn't do this, but you can actually use the shapes here too, just to make it look a little bit more professional. Wait a second. I'm trying to make like a magnifying glass, but I'm doing it very quickly here, so my apologies if it doesn't look like that. That does not look like a, that does not look like, but you know what? I'm just going to use it very quickly here so you guys get the idea. And then I can always swap it out. You know, what's really cool too, you guys can check out, right here. Check out glyphs. Do you ever hear of glyphs before? Gliph. Yep, they're easy. So if you go up to type, they're under glyphs. And basically, depending on your font, you can have really cool little icons come up that you could use under a specific font. So let's see. Wingding, yep. I'll have to have it open here. Hold on one second. Or Wingdings. So Wingdings or dingbats, anything like that is a very easy way to find icons that you could use too for this. So let's say I wanted to use an hourglass, or an hourglass, a search magnifying glass. Dingbats. There has to be something under here. And you can also download fonts that have these types of symbols. Let's see if I can find it. Oh man. There's like, you know, contacts. Skipping through here. Anyway, at least you can kind of check out these icons and see if anything works here. So actually, I'm going to pull this aside because we can use these in a second. But if you can find an hourglass, you know, that would be great just to put that in there. And this is just to show the search bar. You don't even have to have a magnifying glass. You could have like an indicator of a type. Of course, now I don't have the font. Let me just do a straight line. Because sometimes that could just be the indicator of like a blinking text area here. Something like that. Yeah, there's cool glyphs that you can download. Yep. Another thing that you can do too is adding arrows. You know, say if the person didn't want to even search, but they wanted to go to the next screen, adding arrows is a good way to help the person that's looking for a specific page. Man. Sorry guys, hold on. Okay. Oh, man. So you could have these in here below here on every page so that the user, I'm not sure if there would be, maybe on the home page, it would just be the next arrow. Because this is like the home page screen, so I'd leave it like that. So keep it simple for the home page. And the second page would be, sorry guys. Man, I thought I was going to be okay today. All right, the second page is going to be, so we got the home page. Home screen, a location map. So that location map that I showed you earlier, you could do something similar to that too. And that would be, so if somebody were to, oh, you know what? That actually, whatever we have on there, we'll have to put on here. So location map maybe be something like for this one, we'll just put map in here. You know what, actually, I might have, honey. My throat doesn't hurt, it's just my lungs are like killing me here. But I appreciate your suggestion. I've had people, I just at the grocery store the other day and I'm like coughing my head off. I'm thinking, oh my God, everybody's probably like, get away from me. Okay, so location map, if you were to click on that one, it would take you to this location map. Now, what do you normally see? Okay, well, that's good to know. What do you normally see when you go to the next screen? What's consistent on each screen, do you think? What do you think should be consistent? Maybe a logo, right? Yeah, what would be repeated? Probably the logo, right? But it doesn't necessarily have to be in the same spot. Maybe it's down here on the other pages. Oh, I'm sorry. Repeat. You're asking for something. What would you see repeating on the next, all the other pages is what I was saying. What's consistent? Yep. Corresponding locations, logo, and search bar. Yep. So maybe logo, in this instance, goes down here. You're right, you guys. Good job. And then what about these arrows? So that you can go forward and back if you weren't looking, to if you weren't looking at any, what if you didn't want to do anything that the screen said? Do you want to go back to the other screen? It's like kind of like a breadcrumb trail when you're talking about like websites. Breadcrumb trail. Yep, next or previous. This is kind of the, symbol for that. So, yep. All right, so we got the logo, we got, next or previous. And this is the location map. So we want to make sure we are very clear on where everything is. And I'm going to do something where I'm going to kind of draw out a rectangle here first. Give me a good layout because I am using the rest of the screen here where everything would be. And then I'm just going to pick like gray. I'm going to divide this up into sections. Now, this is something that you're going to be making up, okay? So it doesn't have to be exact, but I would keep it aligned if you can. and when it aligned and equally spaced. So I'm just drawing out a map of where everything is. Okay. If you have your snap guides on, snap to guides, it should be easier to adjust these because it's intuitively snapping it to where it will align with your other elements if you have that on. And that's under your window. I'm sorry, under view, snap to point, snap to grid. Okay, so let's say this first one is electronics. That this is the map of the store. So this is where you would find all your departments. This would be home. This would be grocery, apparel, and pharmacy. Yep, you mean like what page, what section you're on. That's a good idea. Yes, good idea. So at this point, I'm gonna just do something like that where it keeps it light. And I can even just eliminate this. I don't even need that. So I think what I need to do is do like a navigation bar, right? Kind of like you would see on a web page, because you were talking about that. So in here, I would do kind of like the departments, or I'm sorry, the area sections that we were just talking about. Home screen, location map, and search. And we're just gonna put home, location map, and search. So that'll be kind of the navigation bar up here that we could also use. Why is this being a pain in the butt? Move this up a little bit. There we go. All right, and oops. Set my tabs. I'm just setting my tabs up so I can have one location. How many do I have? 3. Okay. So I'm just kind of dividing this up into my space here. Let's say this is half. Location, tab, tab. Oh, that's off. It's so weird. They just change where this was at. So makes me want, oh, this should be a left or right justified. There we go. Okay. And what should I do on here that makes it so I know what page I'm on with the navigation bar? So I'm on the location map screen. So maybe make it bold and underlined. And maybe underline it. Remember I was talking to you about different things that you can do to make it known. Like if you were colorblind or you couldn't tell that this was bold, You could put like an underline under it too. Yeah, or you can make it bigger. Make it like bigger. I know I can put an underline on it regularly. Actually, I should just do that. Here, hold on. If you just highlight your type, I was doing it like kind of like the wrong way there. And then you go to your type tool under character. Let's see. Actually, it's not under there. Hold on. Under type, paragraph, character styles. No, it should be under here. Hold on. All caps, small caps, superscript, subscript. So no underline. Show options. Oh, right here. There's an underline option right there. Thought it was. So it'll give you an underline, although it's kind of close to the actual type, but you get the idea. Okay. And then the next thing that you can put in here on the left side, possibly or wherever, is the list of departments. Let's make that not underline. So that, you know, it's kind of like, space these out a little bit more. Pull these back a little bit. So you can kind of see the list of departments here. If you need to click on those too, you can click on those and, you know, select those instead of actually clicking on the buttons. Let me make this light. There we go. Okay, so we know we're on location map because it's bold and underlined. And then we see these buttons here and we're pull these in a little bit. There we go. So just make sure you're paying attention to alignment. I'm gonna pull this down a little bit. So that would be an example of the location map page. Any questions about that? And I'll just keep going forward here. So that's the home page, the map page. Okay, we're good with that. Good. All right, and then we need to do search page and then a search result screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy this consistent information of this, and I'm going to copy and paste it over here. I'm going to also alt drag it over here because we know we want it on this side too, or on this screen. So this would be the search, and this would be the search results. So I would make this, change this so that it's, you know, under search and not the other one. And let's just do regular. So search would be bold and underline. Maybe have a question there. What are you looking for today, for example? It'd be something that you would ask. Make it consistent from page to page. Yeah, what are you looking for today? And then have a search bar here. Oops, that's a little bit. That's a little big there. Okay. And then let's say somebody's looking for candles. Somebody typed this in here. Of course. There we go. Okay. This can be very simple. So you're just typing in that, and maybe even having something in here, it kind of explaining like the search feature helps you find products. And this could be smaller underneath here. Please type in the product you're searching for. You know, maybe this is bold italic, a little smaller, and have it kind of underneath here so that, you know, you can take a look at this and understand what this page is all about. Okay, so that would be like the search screen. And this is the search results screen. Let me get rid of this because this is more of like this. I want to copy that over. There we go. Search results would basically be everything that you have here, just obviously the results. So I'm going to do an alt drag. Maybe. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to center this. Candle with location with the store section. Yep. So, you know, feel free to find a candle online. Pixabay.com is a great website. You can get free, you know, free images for to use that are copyright free. Oh, let me download this one real quick. And feel free, you can kind of add the image in here if you want. If not, you can just draw it in as well. It doesn't matter at this point. Next week, that's more of the final process where you'll be actually showing it. So you can put like the product or products. You can have more than one if you want to. You know, make it look more realistic there. We found these candles for you. Something like that. I don't know. You know, you're speaking to the user, so always remember that. There you go. Yep. And these are, you know, these can be found. All 7. And then maybe that's bold. Good suggestion there. Here we go. Something like that. You can even just have it in the home section because I think, you know, maybe your store map would have to have the aisles in there then. Okay. You can have more than one, like I said, little images if you wanted. Maybe this changes to search results as well. Okay, any questions about that? So you should have 4 screens, your home screen, and you can kind of, you know, quickly do sketches for that. Location map, a little easier because it should kind of look like this. You know, obviously you're going to place the logo in for the final. But this can be just like the wireframe. This is the search area, and then this is the search results. Okay. One what? Sorry. This last one? Is that what you're asking? Yes, this is for icons. Yep. So this is where you can actually experiment with different icons. You can start designing different things. Let me see if there's. You don't have to draw something now. You can use something that you found online, or isn't a glyph or dingbat. I'm trying to find. Here's one source online that I found. You can find AI icons. Let's type in here for icons, see what comes up. And I'm on this freepick.com. You could type in there, but it would be nice to see you kind of develop icons, like kind of start thinking about it. You can even do it, you can even download some icons and then work on them, in Illustrator. So like say if you wanted to download one of these, but you wanted to change it a little bit, that might be a good way to, these are free download. Let's see what this is here. Okay, so these are coming in JPEGs. Let me open these up. These movies to desktop. And I'll show you something real quick that you can do. It's kind of cool. All right, so I'm gonna place what I know you can't see what I'm doing here. Hold on, let me share my screen. Yep, so you can place icons in here. I'm gonna place the ones I just downloaded. They're JPEGs, so they're not working files. But I can at least take a look at the ones that I like. Here's the magnifying glass that I was looking for. So let's say if I wanted to do this one, I can do an image trace. Do you guys ever do image trace in Illustrator? So when you click on your icon, not yet, okay. Properties panel should appear and you should have an image trace option. See that right here? If you hit image trace, you have these options that you can choose based on what type of quality that you want. I'm gonna do 3-color just to see what that looks like. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna trace it. And then you can break it apart into vectors. So it's gone from an image, a solid JPEG image, and it changes a little bit. So you might want to kind of peruse through here and see which ones. Here's high fidelity. Yeah, it's kind of cool to play around with. The only way that you can actually go in and manipulate it is if you do this next step, so pay attention. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Okay, so this is the high fidelity. It looks pretty similar to what I downloaded. Now all you have to do is hit expand, because right now, it's still one piece. I'm gonna hit expand, and it's gonna expand it into tiny little vectors, okay? Now I can eliminate the background. Once that happens, you'll see all these blue vectors appear, okay? So it turns it into an image into vector shapes. I'm gonna unclick off of that. I'm gonna take my direct selection tool, which is your white arrow, and I'm just gonna click anywhere in this white area. Just click one time in the white area and hit delete on your keyboard. That'll delete the white background. And now you can go in and actually move. You might have to ungroup this first. go object and group. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And let's say you just want to use this one, you can copy that one and paste it over here. And then what do we have over here? We have grocery, home. Here's home. And these are nice because they're already done. They're simple. Trying to look for a grocery one. Oh, right here. Yep, you can do the same with any type of file, as long as it's some transfer over better than others. It depends on the quality. So if you have a lot going on in your icon, it's probably not going to trace out as nice. So the simpler, the better. That's kind of like the key. Less colors, the better. There's pharmacy. And I do this a lot. You know, I've done this a lot in my career too. It's not like this is, you know, cheating or anything. People do this all the time. So, yep, icons, there you go. I'm just gonna use this for pharmacy. And you can manipulate it. So, you know, you can change it on, you know, however you want it to look. Apparel, electronics, and map. Well, here's a map. It's kind of like a, here's electronics. I guess electronics could be, I'm gonna say the calculator, yeah. But you get the picture though. And then what you can do is go ahead and copy that over and play around with these over here. You don't have to do it like, you know, squares. That was just me kind of starting it. You can do circles, but keep it simple. And then once we get to week 4, you're going to refine this. So kind of think about how you're going to refine it. You don't have to do it right now, but start thinking about it. You know, how would you place these in here? But you get the idea. So what I would do is leave this really kind of where I had it before, and then, you know, start thinking about all of these icons. And these icons can be on your last page where you're going to say, hey, you know, I'm thinking about using all of these for, you know, the home screen. You can place these as the only icons here. And then, you know, you can write something next to it. This would be my home screen. This would be this, and kind of show it in that regards, like in that way. Where's my, oh. There we go. Just pay attention to how this looks, you know. And they don't have to be this tight either. You can show sketches. It doesn't have to be this tight. But I would get it to the point where I know, okay, this is what it's going to look like. This would be my home screen icon. Is this apparel? What did I have this under? Sorry, home. I'll just use it for that for now. No, I'm kind of need more, but we're good. Electronics. Oh, that's right. I didn't have apparel. So I would need an apparel one too. But yeah, you can show sketches, tight sketches of, what it would look like. Just showing the development of it. Doesn't have to be a final icon either, like I have here, but you can show various, if you find various icons that you can use, you can show what you could, use that for, and kind of eliminate it. The key that you want to think about is the consistency of them all, okay? So you want to make sure you're being consistent. And I'm just for now going to make these all black just for the sake of showing them. Oops. And then what you can do as you go forward in your next week is that's when you kind of go in and start playing around with color and all that good stuff. You can even show color too, it's fine. I was just trying to be, show you kind of a way to be consistent with it. Like you can make all this red instead of black for Target or something like that. Get rid of these little things here. You can make it the Target red. Just making sure. And it doesn't have to all be the same, but it should show a consistent look. And, you can have different colors for your icons too, but as long as it's consistent. Now, branding with companies, as you look at other kiosks, you'll notice that the color is very consistent on every screen. So you want to keep that consistency. You don't want too many like rainbow colors on every screen because then it becomes disconnected. It doesn't look right. But you can also, play around with that as far as background color. It doesn't have to be a white background when you go forward with this in week 4. But for now, you can show, basic white pages and just kind of show what the pages are going to look like. And then play around with a little bit more next week with color, all that good stuff. So this last page, this 5th page here, doesn't need to totally be in with your screens, obviously. This would just be to show me how you're developing your logos, what you're thinking about, how you're unifying it with each of your sections. And those icons should be icons that are matching your homepage that you can show along with maybe the word. You can have it pop up on the navigation bar too. It's depending on how you want to show it. Any questions about that? So you might want to go to one of these places if you have a place that is close by that has a kiosk, or see if they have one just to see what they have. Like I said, our Target here has registration for like weddings and baby shower. I mean, you can still look at those too. They're not quite like the overall kiosk for the store, but you can kind of get an idea of how they're, Oh, I'm glad without coughing as much just a second ago. Thank you. And then what you'll do is you'll just submit a PDF when you're done of everything. So you guys know how to do that in Illustrator, right? I would do a spell check first. You guys know how to do a spell check in Illustrator? Because I've been typing everything in there. Okay, so what you would do is you would just go to your, excuse me. Let's see. Where's spell check in here? Oh, right here. Edit, check spelling, and then go ahead and start. Looks good. Okay, before you save it out as PDF, mine looks good. So then go ahead and file, save as, and you're going to export it as a PDF. Yeah, it's always in a different spot. And it could be, a small PDF, just as long as you have it. the PDF I'm going to open up that I'm going to review your PDF is just on my screen. So it's okay if it's a smaller size PDF. Doesn't have to be big. Okay, and then open up your PDF just to make sure everything looks good. If you have something missing, you can flip through the pages here. And think about how you would, if you were to touch each button, would you know where that's going to go next? Is it making sense? Is it easy to navigate? Think about those things. Okay. Any other questions, or no? That we're pretty clear on that. And tomorrow I'll show you some examples of student work. Okay, that will inspire you guys. And the student work I'll show you is for the final, not necessarily this particular assignment 3. Okay. All right, and the only other thing I need to go over is your discussion. So we are going to be discussing, what does information design mean to you? And like I said, there's a variety of careers that you can do that have this into play, in the graphic arts industry, that information design is definitely a part of in different ways. So infographics, even kiosk design, it's not just one thing. So go ahead and read through this. This is kind of giving you a little bit of a background on information design and what it means, what the information is, what is design. Talks about user experience, what that acronym is meant to be. Then go to the prompt and talks about here some of the questions that you can hit upon in this discussion. So it says that in this class, students from a few different design programs converge, as it is a required class for both associates and bachelor level graphic arts students, as well as those majoring in information design and web design. We have a unique opportunity to explore and share different angles of information design. You're going to research 3 different professional areas of design. In this discussion, share your specific emphasis and explore the following questions. How is information design utilized in the different design fields mentioned? What different roles do graphic designers, information designers, and web designers play in distributing information? How can human-centered approach to design be applied to your specific field? And how can other design fields like gaming, architecture, fashion, interiors utilize the human-centered approach to design? All right. So in this week's reading includes articles and descriptions of graphic design, information design, and web design. You could use these for the start of your research and exploration, but there's a lot more information on these topics available on the web. So let me see here if I can bring up something that might be useful. Did you ever hear of IDEO? IDEO might be a good place to kind of start. They're a nonprofit design studio. Okay, so IDEO.org. Really cool. They have some really neat things that they work on here. And a lot of them is human-centered. So you might want to look at this in regards to, here it says here, we build tools that help millions learn and practice human-centered design. That's key with IDEO. They're huge, very well known. You can read about them, and they actually have tools. But you can definitely see some of their work. You click on some of their work and see how they're using this information to help people. And here's connecting smallholder farms to low-cost sensors, budgeting. Here's promoting early parent-child engagement with brain building. Some really cool things in here that you can definitely check out. And it might kind of spark something here that you might use for your discussion. But they're thinking about how they can involve the user in a way that's more effective and making it, you know, meaningful, the whole experience. Okay. So they're really, really kind of doing a lot of research about the target audience. And here they talk about human-centered design sits at the intersection of empathy and creativity. We use human-centered design to create products, services, and experiences that improve the lives of people living in poverty. So it's really cool to see see how they go through their processes here. You can take a look at this. I'll give you a link here. There we go. This is a great little video here. I'll play for a second here. You guys can take a look at.
Human-centered design is a creative approach to problem solving, one that starts with people and ends with innovative solutions tailored to meet their needs. When you understand the people you're trying to reach and then design from their perspective, not only will you arrive at unexpected answers, but you'll come up with ideas that they'll embrace. Human-centered design is both how you think and what you do with it. It's a process that consists of 3 phases: inspiration, ideation, and implementation. The inspiration phase is about learning on the fly, opening yourself up to creative possibilities, and trusting that as long as you remain grounded in the desires of the people you're designing for, your ideas will evolve into the right solution. In the ideation phase, you come up with lots of ideas. Some too crazy to work, some too crazy not to try, and you'll refine them, tossing out the bad and improving the good. Making things helps you learn, grow, test your ideas. Building a simple prototype gets your idea tangible and gives you something to put right back into the hands of the folks you're designing for. Without their input, you won't know if your solution is on target or how to evolve your idea. Keep iterating, testing, and integrating feedback until you've got everything just right. During the implementation phase, you'll build partnerships, shore up your business model, and get your idea out into the world, which was always the goal in the first place. Anyone can practice human-centered design, and everyone benefits because it gets us all to solutions that are adopted and embraced.
Okay, so that's kind of cool. It kind of gives you an idea in a bigger sense of what user experience design is all about. So really, it's kind of thinking about how can I improve upon something. Okay, it's almost like an invention, but you're the designer and you're kind of going out and saying, okay, would this work? Would this work? Would this work better? And you're coming up with some ideas that, either you're creating an app to simplify a process, or you're creating a website, or you're creating a product or something, a part of the product. So it's kind of open in regards to what the artifact is, but you're doing it in a way that improves the process and making it easier and more effective. And I know that's a lot of information, so I apologize if I just overwhelmed you. But that is a great start for your discussion, that you can kind of take a look at their methods and their design examples to go forward with your discussion. So hopefully that'll help you out there. Any questions about the discussion? You might want to talk about a specific project that you find that you were inspired by, that you want to talk about in here. So you're going to research 3 different professional areas of design. What about, do you ever hear of wayfinding? You might want to research wayfinding. Okay, that's that's basically someone who creates signage, say like at an airport, that is effective so that the people who are walking into the airport know where to go. So signage, let me see if I can look up some examples here. That's just one example, but Let's see if I can find a good resource here for you guys. So it's basically information systems that guide people through a physical environment and enhance their understanding and experience of space. Did you ever go into an IKEA? Let me show this as an example here. If you ever go into IKEA, definitely check it out. They have a really cool way of implementing wayfinding into their stores. Um, and basically what they do is they create very cost-effective home products, and their stores are really interesting how they're laid out. And they definitely use wayfinding in their stores to allow the customer to go through very easily. So it says here, so how is wayfinding handled at the world leader in furniture retailing? Very well. IKEA has evolved and implemented one of the most effective and intuitive wayfinding programs anywhere. The bigger the stores can welcome and direct over 15,000 daily visitors through the entire two-level store with a very few directional signs or conventional wayfinding tools. But how do they do it? So it goes into explaining how they do it. Here, I'll just read a part of this. Follow the yellow brick road. In a unique twist of retail design, IKEA floors are laid out like a museum exhibit with a fixed flow format where you can follow a set path running through dozens of product categories, many presented as a pre-arranged group product tables, but instead of African antelope dioramas and Apache mask displays, you see idealized Gen X living rooms, perfected preschool play areas, and hipped out home office vignettes, each composed of complementary IKEA products. So they pretty much give you a pathway, and it snakes through. So it says it snakes through the sales floor, turning this way and that, exposing shoppers to the complete IKEA overview. Flooring within demonstration rooms, displays, and under the products is architecturally finished in contrast with the shiny walking path. So it says most IKEA shoppers buy into this forced march method after nearly involuntarily ascending to the second floor on their strategically located escalator at the store entrance. So there's some really cool ways that they do this without having a lot of signage too. Yep. So here's that. Let's see if I can actually find images here. You're welcome. So here's a great example of wayfinding. You ever see anything like this? This may not be IKEA necessarily, but look how this is kind of implemented on the, I don't know if this is IKEA, I don't think so. Kind of cool. Wayfinding can be at airports too. I think this is IKEA. So on the floors they have a little circle and just an arrow. Yep. Yep. Airports, subways. Here's IKEA. And some of them do. Look at this one. This is kind of a, I think this is an office space. But look how they implement the color of the lines. Yeah. And the floors. Here's airport. But look how basic it is. You know, they're using basic symbols. They're using pictograms. You guys know what pictograms are? This is a pictogram. I'm getting a phone call. There we go. Somebody's calling me. Pictograms are symbols that are universal, right? How do they paint the building like that? I think I missed it. I think I missed what you're asking me about. I'm not sure. Like this? I think it's like panels. I don't think it's painted, but I'm not sure. I love IKEA though. Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe I skipped the one. Here's one, wayfinding, kind of in a billboard sense. So wayfinding is something that you might wanna look at. Here's a mall. You might find it in an actual mall. Okay, so those are things to think about in different design fields. What different roles do graphic designers, information designers, and web designers play in distributing information? Oh, I think that's probably like when they do like those wraps on vehicles, like the latex, it could be probably something like that. Unless it is painted on the floor, I'm not sure. And then think about how can the human-centered design approach be applied in your specific field. Think about even just like looking at a label on a product and how to do something. Think about that. And then how can other design fields utilize the human-centered approach to design? I kind of showed you some other ones. So architecture, interior design. Okay. All right. So hopefully I gave you some inspiration to kind of think about for your discussion. We're going to talk about you're going to have a quiz for your assessment 3. So we'll go over some stuff tomorrow. And if you guys want to bring anything in, we will definitely have some time to do that. Oh, you're welcome, Beth. Do you have any questions or want to go over anything at this point? Because I'm going to wrap it up if not. Welcome, Sarah. I just saw you in here. You're welcome, Beth. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
I'm kind of having trouble with the graph tool.
Okay.
That's why my assignment's late. Plus, you know how it is having kids. You have to just bear down and get on the house, Mine was kind of lacking.
Okay. Did you get my message? Because I sent you a resource to use.
Okay.
Did you get that?
I don't think I did yet. I just looked at my email. I'll keep an eye out for it.
Okay. Yeah, I did email it to you, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, I actually took a course through Penn Foster, so I have an Adobe Illustrator book, but it's the CS5, so I
Okay.
got it to that area, so maybe that'll help me. But like for some reason, when I put my information in, it's saying I have to have one number. I'm like, huh?
Okay. Do you just want to show your screen then, and I can kind of try to
Yeah,
help you? Okay. Let me stop sharing. You can share your screen.
there. And then here. And here. All right.
All right.
Cancel that. All right. See, I've got it all in there, and when I go to put it in, it brings that up.
Okay. Did you watch the lecture? Because I kind of showed you how to do it a little differently.
I didn't get the chance to. The kids are off school today.
Okay. I would definitely watch the lecture because I did a step-by-step demo of how
Okay.
you do that. So you don't have to put in the names on the left-hand side.
Yeah, I've even tried it without the names, and it just wouldn't do it for me.
Okay, click OK. Let's start over again and I'll show you real quick. So delete everything you just did
All right.
and just kind of start anew.
Just do it like this.
Yeah, just do a completely new bar graph. So just click out of there, yeah.
Don't save. All right. Okay. All right.
All right, so go to your graph tool in your toolbar and just like draw out a square on there just to get started. Okay, so you want to keep that 1, and this is your bar graph. So all you have to do is go to your Word file and open that up, the one that's given to you with all the numbers.
Okay. Hold on one second. I don't know. I haven't been able to find it. It's probably in my downloads because I did download it. It's
Okay.
just, and I tried to organize it. Is it the statistics on visual data?
Let's see how many people use the internet around the world. Um,
'Cause I got the little chart, but I screenshotted it, from the website.
okay. Hold on one second. All right, so if you go to your assignment 2, it's in here, so you just download it again.
All right.
So what you would want to do is, okay, is this for assignment 2 that you're creating this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I can't really move on to the assessment without learning the graph tool, So it's like a catch-22. You gotta know how to do it to do both.
Hold on one second. Like if you watch the lecture, I did do a step-by-step, that would definitely answer a lot of your questions. Let me open up. So always revert back to the lectures because that will help you.
Yeah, I try to when I can, These kids, I got like 3 of them. I've got the 7, 5, and 2, or 3. She just turned 3 in August, so it kind of getting a little chaotic. Most of the time, I only have the 3-year-old home, which is good.
But if you watch the lectures and have time for that, it'll definitely save you time. That's kind of what I was, talking about.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Let me see if I can open up my file. It says I can't open my file up.
Glad I caught you. Because I just remembered, I was like, oh yeah, she's doing a lecture today.
So I think that what you should probably do instead of a bar chart is maybe a pie chart. Let me show you kind of what I did in here because I think that might be better for you. You're going to be doing a bar graph for your assessment anyway. But I think, see how I'm showing this here? I think it would probably be a little easier to view if you have like a pie chart.
Do we have to have 2 of them on the assignment or just 1? I thought it said we needed 2 on there.
For the assignment?
I mean, I got it written down, but let's see.
And so it just says create the infographic in Illustrator. It doesn't really say anything about using 1 or 2. So, using whatever you think that would work for that. Now so you might want to do a pie chart for that one, but the assessment is where you're going to be doing different charts. So I showed you in the assessment lecture video how to create a pie chart, a line graph, and then a bar graph, which you were doing a bar graph. And that I showed step by step of how you can plug that information in the lecture.
Okay. So watch the lecture for both.
Yeah, I definitely would do that. And let me see here. So I showed you how to do, let me open this up. So the very bottom one is where I did the bar chart.
Okay.
For the solar versus wind energy.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did, and I can show you this real quick. So not that.
Mm-hmm. It's
Just
so
like,
fit sometimes.
so you were doing the column graph, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I just did exactly what you did. And then I'm going to open up that Word file. This is for assessment 2, but I just want to show you this just in case you want to still do this for the assignment.
All right.
Let's see. Okay, that's not that. Okay, hold on one second. Get myself all confused here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The data is already in here too, so you can grab that as a Word file. That's why I was asking you. I was getting those two confused. Okay, so if you're doing a bar graph, I'm doing the solar and wind energy for this. Let me open up my Word file here.
All right.
And this is what I showed in lecture. So let me share my Word file. This is provided to you guys, this information. So I'm showing the years. I'm showing the wind and solar. And all I have to do is select that first top left corner. And this is already in the cell sheet. And shift select down to the very bottom corner. So I'm selecting all of it. I'm going to go edit copy. So you would have to, I would say to make it easier, you might want to
Put the information in Excel and then.
yes, but I wouldn't copy the top, you know, have your numbers in there. So that when you have this open and ready to go, you select that first cell and you just do a command paste.
Okay.
And then a check will kind of plot it out.
All right.
So I just selected that first cell and did a command V and it plotted out. The year is on the bottom. So it'd be all vertical, left, first numbers. And then this would be the wind. Now your information would be a little different, and then the solar is the vertical here.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And like I did,
On the Excel page.
what's that?
It's stuck on the Excel page.
Oh, sorry. There you go.
Okay.
So let me do that again.
All right.
So I just selected that one cell, and then I did Command V, and then a check.
Okay. All right. That works.
So it's kind of giving me that. Let me know if, let me see. I guess it depends on the information that you have. I think because you have a lot of percentages in yours, it might be better to do the pie chart for your assignment. I think, you know what I mean? Like there's so much information that the pie chart might make the most sense for your assignment too.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, but go back and listen to that lecture because the lectures will definitely help you go step by step. But that's basically how you do the bar chart. And if you want to kind of play around with that for your assessment.
All right.
Okay. And if you have any issues, let me know. Like I said, I'll be here tomorrow at the same time. So we'll definitely have time to like play around with it if you're having issues.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. My husband's here, so
Okay. Thanks, Sarah. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Okay, Dwayne, did you have any questions or want to go over anything? So the extension form is there for you to fill out each week if you have circumstances that hinder you to submit your work. The extension forms I will go in and read each week and zero out. But basically, they're a way for me to see what's going on with, you know, if you're having issues going through life, something happening. That way I can be more flexible to give you, you know, 2-day extension, for instance, or working with your schedule to get submissions in. You place your concern in there and then a contact so that I can contact you about your status. Oops. Does that make sense, or do you have more questions about that? Well, you get a 0 for, it doesn't affect your grade in the actual, it's just something that we need to do on our instructor end to allow the form to go in every week so that you're, you know, it's not affecting your grade, but you don't get a 0 for your actual assignment. So what I do is I typically, we need to zero out any work that hasn't been submitted. So what I do is I zero out. So if, let's say you fill out an extension form, you need 2 more days to turn in your work. I have to zero your grade out for what you have not submitted after the due date, based on our records, just because at the end of each week, we need to do that so we can tally who's, who's where in regards to your grade in the grade book. But when you submit your work, that obviously will change based on your evaluation. So I could go in and change that 0 to whatever. They just they don't want us to keep it at, they don't want us to keep it blank in there, because they need to, on the admin part, because they need to tally up everybody's progress. Yep, same thing for the help form too. So that's just a way for us to easily contact you if you have any additional questions. Allows us to track, what's going on with you in terms of why you would need an extension. And, instead of you just not doing it, not contacting us, it's just a way of communicating more to us about what's going on on your side. So if you need help, that's something that, I could reach out to you with, and or direct you to some other access, either be a learning coach, if I am not available, for example. So that's more of a guidance option there. Do you have any other questions or want to go over anything today? Okay, let me, do you want to share your screen? You can turn your mic on too if you would like. It'd be easier.
Okay, hello.
Hello.
Um, you, if you want to, you can share. We can share screens, but I didn't do anything yet.
Okay.
Science. That's what I'm asking for the instructions, so I can learn what to do and then get to it. And I'll still watch your video too, so I can make sure that everything is right.
Okay. Well, I won't repeat everything that I did in the lecture. I thought you had stuff to show. So if you need to, I would say review the lecture again, because I do a step-by-step demo. So for me to do that again is kind of redundant on my end. So I thought you had something to show, because I was going to help you with whatever you had like problems with. So I would suggest definitely listening to the lecture. Have you listened to the lecture yet?
I haven't. I was going to. I didn't get the time to do that this weekend.
Okay. Yeah, I would, like I said to the other student that was in here, basically all of your all your questions should be answered with the lectures. So take the time out to listen to those. I believe the ones that I have recorded are only like an hour and a half. They're not even 2 hours. But I go every step, just like I did today, every step of the way. So if you have any questions once you're done listening to the lecture, let me know. But get started with that first.
Appreciate it. I'll let you know when I'll go ahead and turn in the assignment and then let you know when I turn that in and see what you got to say and the feedback from there.
Okay, yeah. You know what? Get started with the lecture today, and then get started with the project today, and then tomorrow you can show me what you have done.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And then we can kind of go over any questions that you have.
Yeah, I can do that tomorrow if I can make it to the lecture. I probably will. I'll
Okay.
see you tomorrow if I can make it.
Yeah, that'd be great because then I can at least see something. If you have anything going on that needs to be changed, we can go through it.
Okay.
But it would definitely be like, I always say watch the lectures because I do step by step. Pretty much everything that I would tell you right now is in the lecture. So it would be a little like redundant for me to go over all that stuff again.
Okay.
But okay.
Um, that's it for now. I,
Okay. Yeah, so start with that lecture and then let me know if you have any questions. I'll be here the same time tomorrow.
okay.
All right.
Bye.
Okay. You good to go?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'll see if I don't see you tomorrow in lecture and you go through the steps and you have questions. I'm still around, so you can contact me, anyway. So
Oh,
don't feel like you're bothering me.
one more thing. Remember when I asked you for your schedules last week?
Yes.
Can you send me that, or can you tell me that now? So I,
Well, I'm pretty flexible, so if you want to contact me with when you're available, you let me know. But I'm pretty much a 40-hour weekday, so besides having room for lectures Monday and Tuesday, I'm pretty much in the office.
uh, could you do that on Saturday too if I need you then?
Yeah, I mean, you just contact me and we'll work it out.
Okay, the best way to contact you is email, right?
Yeah, you can email it to me. Yep, I have my iPhone on all the time, so
Could I call you on a Saturday? Because I like to call sometimes too, so I can talk everything through instead of typing and stuff.
yes, or we can meet through Zoom if that's easier.
Okay,
Yep.
I'll do that then.
All right. Yeah, just make sure you have the work ready to go, finished, watch the lectures so that I can at least, I just don't want to go step by step with you unless they're, from the very beginning. I want to see that you're actually doing it yourself. And then if I need to go back and show you certain steps, I can. You know what I mean? Because if I did that for everybody, I wouldn't have time to do anything else. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? As far as grading and feedback and discussion. So I kind of try to maximize my time as much as I can to be fair with everybody. So, I would just go right to the lectures, listen to the recordings, and then start your project. And then tomorrow, if you have any issues, or even tonight, let me know.
Okay.
All right. All right, Dwayne. If you don't have anything else to go over, have a great day.
All right. See you tomorrow.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.